With Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens seemingly moving towards an inevitable bitter breakup this NFL offseason, my Carolina Panthers are in prime position to strike while the iron is hot and bring a former MVP to Carolina. In this video, I am going to give you all the good, the bad, and my overall thoughts on the potential of this trade. And we're going to get into that right after this.
From the foe, you dig?
Welcome to The Way I See It with Jamario Rashad. This is a Carolina Panthers fan channel. Please do me a favor by hitting the like button, and please make sure you subscribe as I am on my road to 1K trying to get this channel monetized. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the crux of this video. I want to first start by highlighting what I think would be the most positive things that would come from my Carolina Panthers making this move. And the first is the most apparent and easiest to highlight, and that being that Lamar Jackson currently is a 26-year-old former MVP in the prime of his career. Many people would say that what it would cost to get him would be mortgaging the team's future and handicapping them from being able to suit out the team and other need positions throughout the team. Well, my opposing position for that is draft picks and rookies are not proven commodities, while Lamar Jackson, while in his mid-20s, still currently is. He goes out there week in and week out, gives you all everything that he has, and since his rookie year, he has not missed the playoffs one time, proving that he himself is a effective enough cog in a system to be able to make an offense be effective enough to get to the playoffs solely by having him behind center. So Lamar Jackson himself is better than the prospect of whether it's C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Richardson, whoever else I'm forgetting. All of those guys have to prove that they can be, or even on Lamar's level, or even shine his shoes in the NFL. So would it be a little bit more risky to mortgage the future? Maybe. But at least Lamar Jackson has proven to the world that he is worth it. He's a former MVP, and I believe 32 of 32 teams in the NFL would be lucky to have Lamar Jackson. Now, moving on, he instantly makes Carolina a playoff contender. My Carolina Panthers were on the precipice of the playoffs this year. Unfortunately, we lost in Week 17 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which knocked us out of playoff contention. You know how the NFL script writers do. They couldn't let us beat Brady. It just is what it is. But if we had Lamar Jackson, our team immediately shoots up to be the best team in the NFC South. A majority of that reason being, over the past few years, Scott Fitterer has taken his time to actually draft young core pieces that will be part of our defense for the majority of the next 5 to 10 years, and we have hit on just about every high round draft pick we've had, aside from Gross Matos. Now we have Derek Brown, J.C. Horn, Brian Burns, and Frankie Louvu, who is an offseason pickup, not necessarily a draft pick. Our young defensive core is already intact, so bringing in Lamar Jackson is just something that will push the offense forward to be able to even match up or to surpass the output that we get from the defense each and every week. So Lamar Jackson would instantly make these guys a playoff contender. Now, if you're a fan of the team, you'll know that our center, Bradley Bozeman, actually stepped in about a quarter of the way through the season after our projected starter, Pat Elflein, went out for the season. Bradley Bozeman, who has proven that he is a must re-sign in this offseason, was a 3-year starter in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson from 2019 to 2021 before coming over to the Carolina Panthers, and he has a lot of camaraderie and a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? He has a lot of those two complement each other a lot. They're very familiar with one another, and it would not take a lot of getting used to for these two to introduce themselves into the system. Now, with that being said, the final point that I want to make is that a lot of the negativity that has came from Lamar's way in terms of building out the team is the way his play style works. His inability to get it to wide receivers would mean that no wide receiver would ever want to come and play with Lamar Jackson. I want to say, on the contrary to that, if Lamar Jackson was in Carolina, DJ Moore would undoubtedly be the best wide receiver he has ever played with in the entirety of his short, dynamic career. We got to see just how dynamic he can be with a wide receiver the likes of Bateman, and we had flashes of what Hollywood Brown could be, but DJ Moore undoubtedly clears both those guys, and we would truly be able to see just how effective Lamar Jackson is throwing to a guy on the boundaries that can make plays for him when he actually gets them the ball. So that would be one of the final points I wanted to make in terms of why Lamar Jackson would be a plus for my Carolina Panthers. But ultimately, he would just be a lightning rod to re-energize this fan base that has been down since we left Cam Newton, and we have been plagued by the Cam Newton curse ever since, because we did not allow Cam Newton to ride out into the sunset as a Carolina Panther, like going out on his shield. I feel as though we have not met good fortunes whenever it has come to signing free agent quarterbacks, and until we do right by him or we make a move like this, I believe we'll be in QB purgatory until then. Now, I want to move on to what could possibly be some of the more negative things when it comes to making this trade. As I mentioned before, this trade would be very costly, and what we can equivocate this to is what we saw in the trade of Russell Wilson from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos in this past offseason. Now, Russell Wilson was traded for 3 starter caliber players, as well as 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick for Russell Wilson, as well as a 4th-round pick. That is like a king's ransom, but that just shows just how big of an addition a star quarterback could be, and just how great of good fortune a good quarterback could bring to any franchise, that it's just simply worth the risk. Now, with that being said, if my Carolina Panthers did do that, unfortunately, that would probably take away their ability to fill out the more important skill positions on the offensive side of the ball to be able to complement Lamar Jackson. As I've mentioned, DJ Moore would undoubtedly be the best wide receiver he's ever had. But if we would look at what complements Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews is his go-to guy. His tight end, his big man in the middle, the big body guy that can go get it, the sure-handed guy that is right there always over the middle for Lamar to be able to check down to, or at least be able to bomb it down the middle. Now, we do not have any caliber tight end like that whatsoever on this roster. Trimble and Ian Thomas absolutely suck relative to Mark Andrews. They can't do anything as well as Mark Andrews. And if we trade away these 1st and 2nd round picks, potentially we are trading away our ability to draft a high, ready to go sooner than later tight end in this 2023 draft. But that just comes with making the addition of Lamar Jackson. Now, moving on from that, this is a all or nothing move. This making a move for Lamar Jackson does not only tie your hands pretty much in the earlier rounds of the draft. Carolina, because of their inability to find a QB over the past 3 to 4 years, is cap struck at 20. They have only the 21st most cap room allowed right now moving into the 2023 season. So even with making this addition, unlike other teams, we will not be able to make these impactful signings to just be able to make a big splash as soon as we get Lamar Jackson, because that $250 million guaranteed dollar contract that he's looking for, if we do afford that to him, not only are our draft picks gone, our ability to actually go out and sign other players is gone as well. And to make his money work, we will probably need to let go of 1, 2, or maybe possibly 3 of our better players as it is right now. So Lamar Jackson himself makes the cupboard a little more bare than it would have been if you would have just stayed and you drafted a quarterback. So that is a potential risk in taking and making this move. Now, the final risk as a Panthers fan, I want to say, is that we know this danger all too well. And what I want to say that is, we watched as Cam Newton was one of the most dynamic, if not the most dynamic offensive weapon in the league for a 3 to 4 year stretch in his prime, going to a Super Bowl, winning an MVP, making multiple playoff appearances. But we saw the toll that it took on his body. Now, Lamar Jackson is a guy that actually runs a lot more often than Cam Newton, but the way he goes about it does not seem to be as destructive to his body because Lamar Jackson does not have the body type of a Cam Newton. He is not as big. He is not as strong. Being quick, being fast, and being elusive is his game. Now, he's currently injured, and a lot of people would make the case that he is an injury-prone player. I would like to make the case that if he had his money, like most people are assuming, I don't believe that he would have ended this season on the injury list. I believe he would have been able to wipe some money on his injury. It would have healed up really fast, and he would have been able to play. So me being me, I'm not going to smack the injury prone label on him, but his play style does lead a Carolina Panthers fan like myself to worry about his longevity. Getting him at 26 years old means we have missed the first 4 or 5 years of his career where he is going to be the most dynamic with his athleticism, which is the most which encompasses the most part of his game. So getting him at 26 and hoping that he can stay healthy for the next 5 years to a decade can be a risk, as we saw what that can do to a player that uses his athleticism as his biggest strength, i.e. Cam Newton. But in conclusion, man, should we do this deal? Hell yes, man. Hell yeah. Why wouldn't we? I don't understand. There is no reason under the sun while we sit back and we watch teams like the Rams last year. We watched the Buccaneers the year before that. These teams that go out and they go all in, possibly not even on 5 years like we're looking at by investing in Lamar Jackson. They go at it year by year saying we want it right now. And when they do that, they go out, they make impacts, and you never know, you may come away with the Super Bowl. We saw the Eagles do it. We saw the Bucs do it. We've seen the Rams do it. I want to see my Carolina Panthers do it. So if anybody's out there playing this pessimistic pity party game saying that we shouldn't do something like this, go draft a rookie QB, forget those guys. None of those guys are Lamar Jackson. And this upcoming year, they will not have the impact that Lamar Jackson can have on my Carolina Panthers. So with that being said, hell yes, we go out and sign Lamar Jackson. That just is what it is, man. But with that being said, that is the end of the video. You all let me know what you think about this topic. Should my Carolina Panthers go out and try to make this move for Lamar Jackson? Do you think it would be a little bit too much on a team that is already cap strained as it is? Not that many draft picks, but whatever you all think, leave your comments down below. I truly appreciate it. With that being said, I am Jamario Rashad. This is the way I see it, and I'm out. Peace.